Hey guys, how's it going? And welcome to our review of the RockTek MR10 guitar amplifier, electric guitar. Not for acoustic guitars, only for regular electrics. Anyhow, I picked this up on a trade deal off Kijiji, and I'm happy with the deal. Now the amp, I was kind of hoping it had a presence control like the MR20 does, but it doesn't. But that's okay, no problem. It's still a pretty decent little amp, and it does need some cleaning up inside, so I'll be taking that apart tomorrow, cleaning up the electronics and whatnot, because I got some scratchy knobs here, so it needs a good cleaning. You know, it's aged. It's been, you know, the regular abuse, I guess, that you'd put something through. It's missing a couple corner pieces, but I can pull the corner off of here, put it down on the bottom, you know, and at least then I'll have 4 on the bottom. So, you know, whatever. But it's going to get all stripped down, cleaned up again, and, you know, that should be good. It's not going to improve the sound quality any, you know, but it's definitely going to take that scratchiness out of a couple of the knobs. Now this thing does have a distortion setup in it, not to your typical pull on, pull off knob or push on, push out button, but it is there, and of course it has our clean channel. So we have gain, volume, master, treble, middle, and bass, and of course a headphone jack. And the entire back of the unit is completely 100% sealed, and they put ported holes here, okay? And I can actually tune those ports, which I think I might do a little bit of port tuning on them to see if I can, you know, increase the bass response a little bit better. So we'll see what happens. But anyways, so I'm going to give you a bit of a sound demo of the thing, and you know, you guys can judge for yourself, and we'll also fire up my Meridian and compare the two. They're both running 6-inch drivers in them, you know, and mine, the only difference on my Meridian, of course, is on and off, and I've got good control over my overdrive. So, and of course I got no mid-range control on the Meridian. So anyways, this is our RockTek first. Through my pickups. My cork guitar has dual humbuckers. Now we're going to turn the bass all the way to the top. And middle position. It's got something vibrating there a little bit of a buzzing in the speaker there. So we'll have to see what that is. Maybe some dust bunnies. Could be just the fact the pots are really scratchy and, you know, they're a little cutty in and out, eh? Like right there I just killed the amp. You know? So the pots do need to be cleaned up. Now to get to the distortion on this amp, we're going to turn the master to 0, volume to 10, and gain to 10. Master on 1. So let's try turning the volume down to 2. And our master's at about 2 1/4. So you can crunch it a little bit, you know, play around with the controls to get that, you know, crunchy sound you're after, and it can work, you know, it's not too bad. Now we'll have the gain at about 3, volume at 100%, and master capacitor's at 1 3/4 roughly. So, you can work with it a bit. So, overall, I would probably put this thing somewhere around, definitely in the 3 out of 5 range. Now, I don't know what this amp sold for new, like ever. I've looked up this amp. I can find the MR20, which has a presence control, and it appears to be a slightly larger amp, physically. Also being 20 watts, this one being 10 watts, I assume, because there is, like I said, no info on the net anywhere for this model. I can't find anything. So if anybody does have some info, hey, I'd appreciate it. It'd be kind of cool. So please send that along to me. But, I mean, I'm guessing maybe this amp, brand new, God knows how long ago it was put out, because this is showing some age, so it's been around. I'm guessing probably this thing probably sold for about 80, maybe 90 bucks new, you know, back in the day. But it's certainly, I would say, even going backwards in time to when it first came out, I don't think I would have paid more than probably about 40, 50 bucks for it brand new. I mean, that's about what it's worth, you know, in my opinion. It is definitely not a Meridian. And I paid 40 bucks used for my Meridian, and it sells for $100 new. So what we're going to do is we're going to fire up the Meridian for you so you can just hear the difference for yourself. So you might want to, you know, go rewind the video after. Now as far as the back end of this goes, like I said, it is sealed. There's no real info on this amp at all, you know. Oh yeah, 120 volts, we know that. Serial number, okay, good. Power consumption, you know, that's it. No other real information there. So, but I'm not disappointed in the deal. I think I got a good deal. He got a good deal. We're both happy. That's all that counts, you know. I like different stuff. I like old stuff too. I like stuff that's been aged and beat up and still running, and I like new cool stuff too. So let's fire the Meridian up here. And we're going to start on the clean channel on the Meridian. Now these are basically about the same settings, okay, except my clean channel is one knob, and I have bass and treble only, no mid-range control, and these are all centered up top. These are also centered, okay. And they both have the same size speaker. Now my overdrive right now is at half, okay, right in the center. Much cleaner. Okay, now let's turn my overdrive right to the hilt, all the way to 10. So, and I'm not up too high on my volume. My volume is about roughly 1 3/4, and of course overdrive right at the top. Now let's bring my overdrive down to about 3. you judge for yourself which one's the better amp. And I gave this one, the Meridian, a 3.5 out of 5. This one we're sticking at a 3 out of 5. Now, true, the Meridian is a newer amp, but they both have 6-inch speakers. This one's got a 3-inch port at the back. This has got two 1-inch ports at the front and closed off back. Except both same speakers. This is 10 watts. This is 15 watts. You know, the how to get at the distortion is different between the two for saturation. And this has a middle range control where the Meridian doesn't. So even like comparing an apple to an orange, because that's exactly what we're doing here, because normally you need to compare an apple to an apple and an orange to an orange, but apple to orange, you know, the RockTek's not that far away from the Meridian, you know, but it is aged. It may yet need a new speaker. We will see. I'm going to tear into it tomorrow, and that'll be my mission for the day tomorrow, is to take this thing apart in pieces, clean it all up with the compressor, get all the dust bunnies out, and re-lube all the control knobs, and get the scratchy out, check out the solder contacts, make sure everything's good, fix what I need to if there is anything to fix, which, I mean, the thing's functioning, so there shouldn't be anything to fix, right? But anyways, I still like it. I still think it's an okay amp. If you want an amp for really good distortion, you know, it definitely has some high levels of saturation there for you that has some controllability to it. The clean channel I don't find is quite as clean as the Meridian, but yes, there is an age difference to consider, right? The only way to really be sure would be to put a brand new 6-inch speaker in, and I'm just not thinking I'm going to spend the money to do that. But I can listen through headphones too on both of them, and the headphones can actually tell me a better story too, you know, if there's a problem with the speaker or not, because if the headphones, it sounds beautiful, then it's probably a speaker issue, right? And that's how you would troubleshoot something like that. But otherwise, I think it's just some pile of dust inside that needs to be cleaned out, and that should clean up the sound a little bit better. But I'm not expecting, like, you know, a 50% better sound out of it, because I know that's not going to happen realistically. But otherwise, like I said, I'm happy with the deal. It's a neat little amp. It's got some age to it and some abuse to it, which is kind of cool. It's a good kicker amp. You know, I could actually throw this thing in the trunk of my car, throw a power inverter in there, go down to the beach, hook myself up, you know, and just have a blast, you know, and leave my good stuff at home. But anyways, so you guys be the judge which one you think is really better, but it is a review actually geared towards only the RockTek MR10. But I think for 3 out of 5 is a good rating for it. And like I said, for the money, it's not, I wouldn't pay a lot for it new. That would have been something that, had I been looking at this amp brand new back when it was made, I probably would have walked away and went to the next amp up for $10 or $20 more and gotten, you know, 10 times the amp. But that's me, you know. Is it good for a beginner person, like a little kid? Yes, definitely. You know, it would be a good starting point. Very small amp, you know, inexpensive. You could probably pick one of these things up at a pawn shop for about 10 or 20 bucks, you know, maybe 30 tops, and it would be a good practice amp for a very new beginner kid at guitar. This way you're not spending a whack load of money on high-end stuff and your kid doesn't stick with it, right? So it is a good starting point, and it is obnoxious. 10 watts is still a lot of power. It can get really super loud. You know, like that master control isn't up very high, and it's actually pretty loud in here. So, you know, and so yeah. Anyways, that's it. That's all. Leave your comments, questions, you know. I can't really give you any info on the amp for age or anything, because like I said, there's nothing on the net. So I couldn't even guess really too easily, other than to maybe say, okay, the MR20, how old is it? MR10 is probably 1 to 2 years before it, you know, so that's probably about the general age. But to not see any info on the net actually quite surprised me. But anyway, there you go. Have fun. Talk to you later. Catch you on the next video.